Well, hello again, my fellow concerned Australians of the Australian Commonwealth. Now, it seems that Malcolm Turnbull's made a bit of a press release in relation to the same-sex marriage survey. He seems to think that the survey is the grounds to make something basically legalised, to be able to legalise stuff. Well, I've got news for him, because he seems to think that because he's the Prime Minister of Australia, he can go by a survey, and he reckons that it's the decision's going to be made by Christmas. Well, unfortunately, Malcolm Turnbull, you are incorrect, and you damn well know that you are constitutionally incorrect as well. It's just another way you are trying to make Australia become a republic, which many people are also waking up to the issue of a republic, and how you, Mr. Turnbull, and all the other politicians are actually watering down the Commonwealth Constitution. So here we go. Again, this is our binding constitution of the Australian Commonwealth, and it is binding in such of a way that it has the Royal Assent seal up the top here. Also following that is the proclamation. Now, the proclamation, people, is basically Australia and all of its states agreeing that in 1901 this become a binding constitution and lawful constitution under common law of this land of Australia. So there is no changing that, because what else is also in this constitution is a safeguard that any person who tries to change this constitution or move away as this of the binding constitution is actually in contempt, and contempt is a chargeable offence. Also, treason comes into it as well. Treason is also a punishable offence. So Malcolm Turnbull, you're trying to ditch this binding constitution and change it, damn well knowing that constitutionally you can't, because you actually do not hold any authority over any person within the Commonwealth of Australia. Now, the question which Mr. Turnbull seems to think that he can most likely change is this section here. Okay? That there is the Marriage Act. Now, if you can read that clearly, you'll be able to see that a relationship is between a male and a female, or a man and a woman. Okay? So, now you've seen that, to change this constitution, as it's our binding constitution, it actually requires a referendum, because it will be changing the binding constitution. So the Marriage Equality Survey, in fact, is only a survey, and it can only be as a guideline to show the Parliament of Australia that people want change. You cannot change an act, because this is the Marriage Act, which is the S200 marriage. That follows the Marriage Act. You can change the Act, but at the end of the day, the Act comes from this Constitution, our binding Constitution. You cannot change the Marriage Act, and then this still says a relationship is between a man and a woman, because then you have S109, which comes into effect. When a law of a state or other conflict with the binding constitution, the binding constitution prevails, and this rules supreme. So Malcolm Turnbull, good luck, and I'll tell you right now that if you even attempt to water down our binding constitution anymore, you know that you can actually be taken to the High Court. And as for the Australia Act, I'll actually see it that it goes to the Queen's Court in the United Kingdom. because you, Mr. Turnbull, are a big threat to this book. But in fact, you're not a threat to this book, because this book can actually, and the Magna Carta, can actually ditch you within 24 hours. Remember that, Mr. Turnbull, because we, the people of Australia, have rights under common law. Thank you.